Hello, Market Australia. This is Dr. Jeffrey Michael Strong of Horphag Research. I am so honored that you invited me again to be back and present for you, and I extremely apologize for not being able to be there in person and really hope to be there next year. And so without further ado, I would like to get straight to the point because I have a lot of stuff to share with you and a little bit of time to do it in. So let's get right into the meat of the matter. My presentation today will be on the new research on pycnogenol, but also will focus on and touch on the research related to polyphenols in general. And it's some very exciting stuff and some trends that are moving in the world of polyphenols in general, as well as the research on the new information on pycnogenol. So we do have this disclaimer here that is important for you to read and understand before I begin, but I'm sure you are all somewhat familiar with that. So let's move in. Yes, I am Dr. Jeffrey Michael Strong. I'm trained as a naturopathic physician, graduated from Bastyr University in 2003. So my passion is alternative medicine, and my experience, I have a wealth of experience as a scientific director in the Asia region for Horphag Research and Pycnogenol. So I'll be talking about the multifunctional supporting health benefits of Pycnogenol in particular, but an allusion to polyphenols in general, based upon the most well-researched polyphenol, which is Pycnogenol. So first off, it's important for you to know that pine bark has been known to be good for human health for more than 2,500 years. This was first reported by the writings of the ancient Greek physician Hippocrates himself. Yes, the man with the famous quotes of "Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food," which is the first tenet of naturopathic medicine, but also that all disease begins in the gut. And this man was truly clairvoyant with this statement, and we will touch on this at the end of my presentation. But first off, it's important for you to know where pycnogenol comes from. It is a unique species of pine tree that only grows here in the southwest region of France. Now, the pine trees here grow in a very harsh environment, and as such, they grow this very, very thick bark that's deeply red because it contains a high concentration of the unique polyphenol compounds, these procyanidins, that are found in high concentration in pycnogenol. Now, pycnogenol is supported by more than 50 years of research. It was originally developed to be a pharmaceutical product and still used as a pharmaceutical product in some countries, but in most countries around the world is a health food ingredient. Its actions are supported by over 160 human clinical trials, tested in more than 15,000 patients, and has many patent-protected applications. The clinical studies show that it significantly improves the healthy function of our vascular system, helping our blood vessels to dilate, to maximize delivery of oxygen and nutrients throughout the whole body. At the same time, it is a super antioxidant, which fights free radicals and helps to even slow down the aging process itself. It supports our connective tissue, including our skin and our joints, by supporting better collagen production and the moisture-binding compound hyaluronic acid. And it supports healthy immune function by decreasing chronic and hyperactive immune systems, such as in autoimmune conditions or chronic conditions like osteoarthritis, but even more acute and painful conditions like low back pain or menstrual pain in the case of women. You can find the research online yourself at pubmed.gov. You can type in pycnogenol and you will see there are more than 540 peer-reviewed scientific publications on pycnogenol. And pycnogenol is the most well-researched individual extract on polyphenols, but we're really going to be alluding to the health benefits in combination with all of the other polyphenol compounds, from the citrus flavonoids, the bilberry flavonoids, and unique flavonoids in grapes in the OPC-3 combination, the Isotonix OPC-3 combination, because it truly is an evidence-based formula and has been shown even in clinical studies to be not only safe, but effective in helping to improve health. So let's start with free radicals. We need to maintain a proper balance of this in our lives. They do have minor healthy functions and promoting immune function, but the harmful effects of too many free radicals are clearly shown through accelerating aging and increasing the risk of many diseases. So it's important to keep this balance. And unfortunately, after about the age of 25, our ability to collect these free radicals and the damage they cause already significantly increases our risk of disease and accelerates damage and even accelerating the aging process itself. So really, from a young age, even before 25, but especially after that age, it's important to really make sure you're eating a proper diet and taking in good antioxidant support. Because there is a new phrase in the scientific literature related to aging and diseases of aging, and this is known as inflammaging. And this really starts with high levels of free radical stress, because this will trigger inflammation. And inflammation triggers more free radical stress because it's created as part of the inflammation process. And yes, this triggers even greater inflammation, and so on. And all of this contributes to the feelings that we see as we get older, with less energy, more brain fog, and increased levels of depression and anxiety that we're seeing, particularly in high stress modern society that we live in today. And this has been shown in a very cool review article that was published a few years ago. And it showed clearly the mechanism by which high free radical stress, whether it's through metabolic disorders or an infection, triggers an upregulation of the immune system. This already begins to consume a massive amount of the energy that our body needs to function. And this contributes to fatigue in our everyday life. But this also increases inflammatory mediators. These get into the brain, and it triggers more inflammation and free radical stress in the brain itself. And this directly impacts our brain's neurotransmitter levels, including the feel-good neurotransmitters of dopamine. And not only does it decrease production, but it also increases the reuptake. So there's continually less dopamine than we need to feel normal and function in a healthy manner when we're under constant high levels of free radical stress and inflammation in the body. And this is where the polyphenols, particularly pycnogenol, can work on a foundational level to improve our health. This action has been shown in multiple clinical studies. First, as an antioxidant, pycnogenol compared to other commonly seen antioxidants, even other polyphenol antioxidants like grapeseed extract, pycnogenol is far and away one of the most powerful antioxidants available. It even boosts our cell's own natural antioxidant defenses by boosting the activity of our important antioxidant enzymes inside of our cells, as well as sparing our body's own produced, very important antioxidant glutathione. And this has been shown not just in one study, not two, but many, many studies, again and again, boosting antioxidant enzyme function, sparing glutathione for its detoxification needs and antioxidant action in our body. And clinical studies, multiple clinical studies, every way you can test antioxidant potential, pycnogenol has shown again and again how powerful it is. This is an example in healthy smokers who took either a placebo, so a sugar pill, or pycnogenol. And over the course of 8 to 10 weeks, you saw a 40% reduction in the level of free radicals in their bloodstream. And this brought them back down to a healthy non-smoker level of free radical stress. So, and this is only 50 milligrams per day. And again, this impact has been seen in multiple clinical studies. And this helps to improve not just our mood, but also our sleep quality too. And this benefit has been shown in multiple clinical studies, well more than 5 now, but I have gathered 5 here for you. And what we're talking about is the antioxidant action, anti-inflammatory action, an ability to maximize blood flow to the brain and all of our organs, particularly when we're asleep at night. So this was a study in healthy college-age students who over the course of 8 weeks not only saw significant improvement in cognitive function, but they felt more alert, they had less anxiety, and they were more content. in healthy adults between 35 and 55. Again, improved cognitive function, but significant benefit in improving sleep quality, which helps them to be more awake in the morning and have better alertness. Same with perimenopausal women. They saw a significant reduction in mood-related symptoms, as well as a significant improvement in sleep. And they also saw the similar effects in 55 to 70-year-olds, looking at up to a 70% improvement in sleep, as well as a nearly 60% improvement in mood. Pycnogenol has more than 30 clinical studies showing how it boosts the blood vessels function and helps to decrease cardiovascular risk factors like hypertension and cholesterol. And it's even been shown to decrease the risk of and the acceleration or the progression of atherosclerosis, the root cause of heart disease itself. There are multiple studies showing that it is safe to combine with high blood pressure medication and may even reduce the need for high blood pressure medications. And you don't have to take a lot to see a significant improvement in blood flow. This was a study in healthy Japanese in taking 60 milligrams of pycnogenol for just 4 weeks and seeing significant improvement in blood flow. Moving into cognitive function, now pycnogenol has been studied in all age ranges, from children at the age of 6 up to elderlies up to the age of 85, and including people with subjects that have mild or minimal cognitive dysfunction, as well as patients with Parkinson's disease, improving cognitive function. And the most recent study related to this was a study done at the University of Amsterdam that compared pycnogenol head-to-head with the most commonly used pharmaceutical treatment for ADHD. And this is methylphenidate, also commonly known as Ritalin. And in this clinical study, they compared Ritalin to a placebo as well as pycnogenol. And they showed that taking pycnogenol for 10 weeks, pycnogenol helped to reduce total ADHD symptoms by nearly 30%, compared to 45% in the Ritalin group. So this is very, very close in comparison, and particularly related to hyperactivity and impulsivity symptoms. Pycnogenol performed almost as good as the drug itself. And where it's really important is if you look at the amount of adverse effects that were reported in this study, because Ritalin has serious side effects where it decreases appetite, and these children see significant weight loss at a time when they should actually be gaining weight to help promote healthy growth. So you can see at already 5 weeks, more than half of the subjects are having significant side effects, where pycnogenol is having far fewer side effects than the placebo, than the sugar pill itself, much fewer side effects. So the safety profile, as well as the efficacy profile of pycnogenol, really supports its use in ADHD. So let's go from this brain here down south to near the other brain, where unfortunately most of us men spend most of our time thinking throughout of our lives. But this is related to not the organ itself, but nearby the other organ of the prostate. And this is BPH, benign prostatic hyperplasia. Now, there are pharmaceutical treatments here, but they focus on the hormonal aspect of the condition, and they have very unfortunate side effects like erectile dysfunction and decreased sexual desire. So what happens with BPH is just that. The prostate becomes enlarged and it blocks outflow of urine from the bladder. And this results in many, many symptoms related to urination. So increased frequency and urgency to go to the bathroom. But most importantly and most impactful is urination at night, or nocturia, because this will impact the overall health of men, increasing the risk of heart disease and diabetes and other things. So pycnogenol was more effective than the pharmaceutical combinations at decreasing bladder volume, which means men were able to eliminate more completely with pycnogenol. And looking at the broad range of symptoms, you could see that far and away, the green bar, pycnogenol was the most effective at improving all symptoms across the board, including nocturia, which by decreasing it by 31%. This is huge. This is the difference between waking up 3 times a night versus only 1 time a night. Imagine that impact will have on daily quality of life and reducing disease risk. So yes, men, clap for that, because this is a very important health benefit of pycnogenol and polyphenols for our prostates. But let's stay in the same region, and we'll shift over to the organ or the second brain for us men, and we're going to talk a little bit about erectile dysfunction. Now, you can improve erectile dysfunction by improving cardiovascular health risk factors, and that's what this study was looking at in patients who had diabetes and also men who just had moderate levels of erectile dysfunction. So in this 3-month study, they compared pycnogenol to a placebo. And in subjects with diabetes, so high blood sugar here, they saw a significant reduction in their LDL cholesterol in as little as 1 month, but no significant change in placebo. In the men with moderate erectile dysfunction alone, they also saw a significant reduction, but only in the pycnogenol group related to LDL cholesterol. And then the other cardiovascular risk factor, which is high blood sugar, they saw in diabetics particularly a very pronounced reduction in their blood sugar levels back down to a much healthier level with no real impact on placebo. And even in the men who did not have diabetes, they also did see a significant reduction in their blood sugar levels back down to an even more healthy level. So you're reducing cardiovascular risk factors of cholesterol and blood sugar levels, and this helps the blood vessels to be able to dilate better and perform better. So I think you can see where I'm going here, that particularly in the diabetic subjects with moderate ED, they saw a significant improvement already in 1 month. And this continued through the entire 3 months of the study. So it decreased their level of ED from moderate to mild in just 3 months. And even the men who did not have diabetes, they also had a significant and pronounced decrease in their symptoms of erectile dysfunction, improving erectile quality. And this is all without any pharmaceutical intervention. So significant improvement in cardiovascular health function, decreasing cardiovascular risk factors, and helping to improve erectile function as a bonus. So yay, man, prostate health and erectile function, yay. I bring this to you now because next month we will be moving and having a special webinar just for you all to focus on women's health. So I wanted to bring you a little men's health here because next month we'll be focusing on women's health, particularly with a focus on menopause, because we now have 5 clinical studies, and I will go into detail into each of these, but in particularly the most recent study, which is a comparative study, looking at other extracts or combination of extracts that have been shown to have some benefit in relieving menopause symptoms. So pycnogenol is going head to head with these other extracts. So stay tuned for that, but not just menopause, but also other qualities of health in menopausal women. So we'll be talking about hair quality, and particularly in women, increasing hair density. We'll spend some time on that, and also the skin health and skin whitening benefits of pycnogenol in women of menopausal age. So lots to go through there, and I really hope I can see a lot of you there. I hope we can have a Q&A session there as well. But let me bring it all back together as I started in the beginning with Hippocrates and his clairvoyant statement of all disease begins in the gut. In the last 5 years in particularly, you're seeing a huge growth in the research related to polyphenols in the gut microbiota. And the link between these and a healthy gut is becoming more and more clear. You can see that this very nice review article shows that 90 to 95% of all the polyphenols we take in ends up in our colon. What is it doing there? Well, it's having a huge impact on improving the healthy function of our gut. And this impacts our immune system with 70% of our immune cells around the gut. And this has an overreaching effect to our entire body. Most important in this are these butyrate producers, as they're called. Now, butyrate is a short-chain fatty acid that is produced by several strains of these bacteria in our gut. These are the good, friendly bacteria. And in addition to the short chain fatty acid, they already produce antimicrobial molecules to protect the intestinal environment. They produce anti-inflammatory molecules to, again, protect the intestinal environment. But it's the butyrate production which helps to decrease the overgrowth of the bad bacteria in the gut and goes through the intestinal wall and impacts our immune function on the other side, so inside of our body. Increasing butyrate production in the gut by increasing polyphenol intake, you get an increase in butyrate production, and this will already shift your immune system to an anti-inflammatory state. So if we don't have enough butyrate, our immune system can be ramped up into high gear all the time, and this is commonly seen in conditions like osteoarthritis or autoimmune conditions. And guess what? Polyphenols are a preferred food substance of these bacteria. In particular, this one here, Ficalum prausnitzii. Yes, it's a horrible name to pronounce, but this bacteria is the most abundant butyrate-producing bacteria in the human gut. And not just the Ficalum bacterium prausnitzii, but also other butyrate-producing species prefer to eat polyphenols. And the more polyphenols you get, the more of these good bacteria you have producing the butyrate, which has all those health-promoting benefits in our gut. And this has been shown in clinical studies, which looked at the gut health of elderly individuals and how that impacts more than just the gut. So what they looked at was a marker of leaky gut, or intestinal permeability, as they call it. And they saw that the marker zonulin decreased significantly simply by increasing polyphenol intake. So the health of the gut was improved significantly just by increasing polyphenols in the diet. And this helped to decrease blood pressure. And the most important was it increased the amount of these butyrate-producing bacteria by boosting polyphenol intake. So this is where it all comes back home and why it's so important, where any way that we can, to increase the amount of polyphenols in our diet. And I could go on and on with this, but I know I'm already over time. So I just wanted to help to bring home why this is such a vital compound, why these compounds are so vital to support our human health in the gut particularly, and any way you can bring them in to your body through these well-researched, evidence-based products such as Isotonix OPC-3. I highly recommend that it be done. So again, you can find much more information about how Pycnogenol works in the body at pycnogenol.com. And the more than 50 years of clinical research is summarized into many different application brochures. You can find much more details there. And of course, you must always remember that Market America is the only company globally, the worldwide exclusive provider of an isotonic capable Pycnogenol, only Market America. And again, lastly, just let me plug the webinar next month. So again, I hope to have a Q&A session there in some form where I can interact with you better. And it will be focused a lot on you women. So I look forward to seeing you all there. And yes, I thank you again for spending your time with me. And I hope you enjoyed the rest of the convention. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.